master's degrees who want to get into family law type of counseling work, but it's really hard to get started there. This will enable us to stipend them to get that training, to be involved, to work one-on-one, to go to court, to develop those skill sets so that they can do more of that work. It is so in need, and there aren't nearly enough people doing it.
And don't you do something with children that there's like the activities that you do? I know last time we talked, you were doing like this thing with activities to help children cope, and that was really interesting to me. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. When we spoke in March, we do 2 fundraisers a year, and they're affiliated with the time changes. So we do Spring Forward and Fall Back. So you can always remember when our fundraisers are. But our Spring Forward event was called Fill the Sandbox, and we had a special fundraising focus on sand tray and sand play therapy for children, which gives you kind of a blank canvas and about 1,500 different types of figures and small items that you can use to lay out a scene. And if you can imagine, sometimes there are feelings that you can't put into words, but you can express them in some type of artistic fashion, and children especially are natural at play. So creating things and telling you the story of why they created them can tell you a lot about what's going on for them emotionally. And so that Fill the Sandbox fundraiser was part of our March event. We also have an expressive arts room where people can do all different kinds of craft work and artwork and use that for expression. That is a part of our counseling process with children. We have a huge play therapy area, and we're wanting to set up, this may do that, by the way, video help where we can support filming caregivers and their children, parents and their children, and how they interact, so that you can go right back and say, well, you see when that child came over to you and handed you that toy, they were trying to involve you, they were trying to express their feelings and organize and get you connected with them, and you were on your phone. Or whatever it might be, or see how you reached out to them and they came to you. You can get immediate feedback on some of those.
That's cues. A really cool thing.
Isn't that amazing?
I love learning stuff. I get so darn excited because mental health, is it really affected by the time change and stuff and by the moons and all that? I mean, I personally feel like it is, but is that a true, or do I just want it to be because sometimes I feel that's an excuse? But is that a real thing?
I don't know. I'd have to ask the clinicians what happens in the rooms, but I went to the emergency room before the time change with my dad, and it was packed right on the full moon, so I think healthcare at least, but I don't know.
I really think something changes because we're made with so much water in our bodies, and the equilibrium of your water levels and all that stuff. And I always just think that's all interesting. So do you only deal with children?
No, not at all.
Tell us all who you deal with. Give us a little update.
Who don't we deal with? That would be easier.
Okay.
Truly, we start with birth to 5, and we have that specialty with children. We have several therapists, and I tease them because it's my favorite expression. Give me the eye-rolling teenagers. We have therapists who say that. So that's amazing. That's a tough population, but there are people who really connect there with kids and teenagers who are just struggling and just not able to express themselves in their situation they're in. Middle school, there we go. Then we work with
hormones and all that stuff alone.
Oh my goodness. And then, through high school and teenagers, we work with young individuals who are making life transitions into what's next, what's my purpose, existentially, what's going on for me, and that can happen at any age. We work with couples, premarital couples, and also postmarital or just relationships, kind of what's going on in that relationship, whether it's communication or trust issues, any kinds of things that can happen with couples. We do work with adults, especially through employee assistance plans. Maybe they're struggling at work or something's happening in their family or with their finances. And then through retirement, we take Medicare, all the way those life transitions. There's grief. There are things that happen later in life, illness, that we want to be able to help support as well. So who don't we work with? Actively addicted folks who need to do a treatment program first, either intensive outpatient or inpatient. We want to get involved after they've completed that and help with the ongoing support that's required to maintain that sobriety. Other than that, there are a lot of things we do. We do a lot of veterans work. Yeah, we don't take CHAMP VA type insurance, and sometimes they want to get services then through the VA because of that. But we do take TRICARE and some of the other related insurances, and we do work with a lot of veterans. In fact, we have a relationship with Volusia Recovery Alliance, VRA, and they have some grant funding with us through an MOU to help support veterans and first responders who are coming back from addiction issues. So we do a lot of that work as well.
So how would people get a hold of you? Do you have like one location? Do you have several locations? Do you do social media? Tell us all about how we find you.
Excellent. So PCC Daytona on Facebook, Presbyterian Counseling Center at Gmail, PresbyterianCounseling.com, 386-258-1618, and that's either phone or text. Sometimes people aren't ready to talk, or they can't talk yet.
Did you see 911 is doing texting now?
Yes.
And I was like, that is so cool. Because think about it. Sometimes you can't verbally say what's
Right.
going on or whatever,
Exactly.
but you could grab a phone and say help or need whatever, and I
That's
thought that
brilliant.
was amazing that they were doing that. Just like
Yeah.
happened last week, I think.
And it creates some safety
Totally.
features and protections as well. Sometimes you're not ready to talk, but you can text and say, how do I get started? And we can text you back and say, send me your email and we'll send you a link. When you're ready to talk, let's talk. Otherwise, as much as you want to do by text, we can do by text. And then you'll be in front of somebody, or you can be on the phone, or you can be by video. We need to meet people at their point of need.
We talked about that.
We did. So that is what we do, try to find that right path.
I
for
think
each person.
COVID helped that, don't you?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, because I know people always say, what do you mean COVID helped that? Well, before COVID, you had to go. You had to be in person. And then that opened that way of using all these different platforms to help people. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I didn't look at COVID as a bad thing.
Yeah.
I looked at it as an opportunity to get outside of your box
Yeah.
and figure it out and make it happen.
There was a lot of growth, a lot of pivot that happened, and it opened different avenues that people could use. Maybe hybrids. I want to be seen in person sometimes, but my work schedule's insane. So, I can grab a lunch hour break and get therapy on my lunch hour as well. There are a lot of different avenues that people can use to get help now.
One of the things I thought was incredible in listening to your presentation, and Shelley, as you said, it is 10 minutes. So in those 10 minutes, you can't cover everything, and these interviews are amazing. I learned so much. And,
So do I.
And Laura, we're so fortunate to have you to talk about this. But one of the things that I thought was interesting as you presented was you pointed out the relationships with the other organizations like Youth Emotional Support and with Recovery Alliance. And one of the things I think is so beautiful, even in that room, is you understand this network that's created in our community, and new connections are made. So a lot of times there'll be organizations that talk about something they're doing and how they can support another organization. So there's sometimes a duplication of services needed, but sometimes you can help support each other. Like, I have diapers that I can bring to your thing, or I have, we can refer clients to you. And one of the organizations that were there, and I'm only bringing them up because it's an example. It was Bikers Against
I'm
Child
interviewing them
Abuse.
in a couple
Are
of
you?
weeks. Yep.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Yeah.
They came up to me and asked me, and normally I don't do that because
Right.
I want to do the recipients, but my heart was just going yes, 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 and they come in next week.
Well, that's interesting. But they're an example of someone who come quarter after quarter, and the reason they're there is because they're looking to make those connections. So providers like yourself know that they're there, and they can be called on to advocate for children who are going through abusive situations or having to go to court, or just need some strong presence to stand there with them. But it's, to me, one of the remarkable things that happen, of many, and the ripple effects you talk about, are the resources that people bring forward, and the connections and network that's strengthened through those conversations, and so incredible to listen to you talk about the work that you do, because in fact, I don't know about you, Shelley, but you knew about them. I did not, and I get called all the time. So now I'm excited that I have a resource.
Rolex.
I do.
She keeps a Rolodex thing. If I can't find something, I just call her. But I mean, but I don't think we've ever done a counseling service, have we, in all the years?
Well, youth emotional support.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
and
Which
they-
is one of our partners.
Right, but I
Right,
just
yeah.
didn't know if that
Partners.
was considered like a counselor.
Well, they're the funds they received to help train counselors in you say it, the kind of
Dialectical behavior therapy. Yep, DBT.
Say that three times
DBT.
fast.
I never can, and I'm always going to mess it up, so I try not to say it. But thank you for saying it for me. And but again, they're reaching. They're part of that network of providers, and inspired by youth who have struggle with sort of suicide ideation and other kinds of emotional struggles that they can help them. So thank you.
Exactly. And the people that came up to me afterwards, and again, still in shock, just look at the picture. There's,
It's a great picture, by the way. I just
I love
posted
it.
it.
I
I
just
just
love
posted
it.
it.
It's a complete shock.
I loved it.
What do we do now? But
It was
the
breathing
people-
involved.
There needed to be more breathing.
Yeah.
The people that came up afterwards included a lady who has animal support for people going to court.
Oh, nice.
What a cool resource, where you could have a support animal that you can take with you to difficult places like court.
Help you calm you. And
That
give
was
you
an
that
amazing
emotional
resource.
support.
There's a visitation house in DeLand, and I've spoken with the person who
Erin.
runs that,
Yeah,
and she
we-
said again, "Hey, we got to connect," and
She's
and we've
amazing.
agreed, yes, we need to connect. But that visibility and that being front and center reminds people what you do and how you can connect with them. There were at least 5 or 6 people afterwards that came up that are either existing partners or partnerships we've been wanting to develop. Another one with Hope House, Hope Place, to say, yes, we need to get this DBT therapy in place. A group at Hope Place is one of the things we want to do. So the partnerships, and United Way is the one that brought us to Volusia County Women Who Care. They're the ones that said, have you heard about this group? And I said,
Isn't it
how have I not heard about this group? I've lived here 50 plus
Totally.
years. This is amazing. And I went, the first 3 meetings, I just was slack-jawed. Like, look at what these people are accomplishing.
That was
look at
me.
I just couldn't get over. How did I never know this was here? And look at the phenomenal work that's being done. And then after 3, then I was like, okay, we're getting in that hat. And then after that, we've been trying to make sure that we were front and center and could be eligible for.
Well, what do you mean could be eligible? How do you get in that hat? I mean, how do you become part of this? Because, I did not understand it. I was invited by somebody.
Yep.
And I had no clue what I was doing. I was just being polite because the person invited me. And I went, and then because I'm in the Christian church world, okay, I got so excited because I thought this is
Yes.
a bridge that needs to be gapped for the churches, because the churches help the people that are in the church. And I'm not being negative or rude when I say that, but they have so many resources that they need to help that. But then there's all these wonderful 501c3s out there. My favorite one that I've used so much is the ID thing. I know people laugh at me. You'd be amazed how many people don't have an ID.
Yes.
And there is a nonprofit that we did a few years ago that helps you get an ID. The simplest thing that I can't imagine not having one, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Counseling. I remember when we were going through the whole thing with my family and my niece, it was hard to figure it out.
It is.
Because you're numb.
Yeah.
And then where do you go? Well, see, I think because of Volusia County Women That Care, now I feel like you tell me what's wrong and I can help you figure it out. And
I'm a
I know
resource,
a
right?
lady.
Right.
Resource.
So explain, how do we partner with you? How do we become part of? How do we do our $100? How do we get to do this?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. So Volusia County Women Who Care is an all-volunteer organization, and it's member-driven. Okay, so what is a member? So a member is anyone who commits to making that $100 a quarter contribution to the selected organization. So you may or may not have voted, for example, for Presbyterian Counseling Center that evening, but your commitment is to the whole community. Your commitment is to continue to write that check, and regardless of whether or not it went to your preferred charity or not, because when we lift that nonprofit community, everybody rises with them, right? Not only the other nonprofits, but us as individuals, us as communities, investors in the community, people who care about the community, people who live here. We lift everybody, right? And so, you have to be equitable. So how does it work? So you join, you make that commitment to make that $100 contribution. So as a member, you have the opportunity to nominate any qualified 501c3. So what a 501c3 is, for those who may not understand, that's that's just a tax term, 501c3. All that means is it's an IRS designation that says that you are a nonprofit, and you qualify under a certain, government eligibility criteria. You apply for it, you get that status, and now there's a tax status. In other words, you're a charity. You're a local charity. So we validate, so our members and only members can nominate a charity. So we open that window and people, we have an online process. They go online, they complete the form and complete the requested information. So in other words, we want the verification that they in fact are a 501c3, and we vet them. We make sure that they are registered with the state of Florida properly. You have to be registered in the state of Florida. You have to also have a solicitation license, registered with the agricultural department, if you can believe that. And so there are three, they're very specific in your articles of incorporation. So those are specific verifications that we do. We also verify that at least you've been in business for a year, because we want someone who has has been around for a little bit and has gone through at least one cycle. And then so we verify that process, and that the member who is nominating you is a member in good standing. So what does that mean? That means that they are paying their dues, because some people don't. But we want to make sure they have, and they have been a member for at least one quarter. So in other words, you don't just, because we learn, we grow, right? So we learned that people would come and say, oh, I want to join, and they would nominate somebody, and then the person didn't get selected, and then we never see them again. So that's not the intent. The intent here is that you're part of this incredible membership organization of women that really do care about our community. Partnering together, absolutely. And that you're part of this big piece. And that, and so then once you've nominated and goes through this vetting process, you're notified that, you qualified, and your name with that nomination goes into that hat, the proverbial hat, which is kind of, sometimes it's a bag, sometimes it's a hat, sometimes it's a bowl.
Okay.
Whatever somebody hands me that we can shake up, and then we draw three at random. Those three, and the three that are invited to come to the stage and make a 10-minute presentation. So let me make a fine point on this. When I call your name, like Presbyterian Counseling Services, Laura Walker comes up. And Laura Walker is the one that's asked to present. And the reason for that is because if you care enough about this organization to nominate them, we want to make sure that you care enough to understand who they are, that you were able to talk about them, that you really do care about them, that you're not just doing it, right? So you really care about them. So you come up, you have 10 minutes, and 10 minutes is just sometimes it seems like forever, sometimes a very short period of time, but you have to tell your story, and you have time for a Q&A. Members can ask you questions. After that, we take a break, and members vote. They vote on the one they'd like to see receive the member contributions this quarter. And in this quarter, fourth quarter, and our 8th anniversary happened to be Laura Walker and the Presbyterian Counseling Center. Everybody then goes however they make their contribution, whether it's on our Grapevine platform, or they write a check, or however they do it.
I like to write the check because I feel like I really did it.
You've done something, right? You see it. It's a tangible evidence.
It's weird, but that's what I like.
That's okay. So then we collect them all, and then in about a month later, 6 weeks later, we get to tour the organization. We get to present them with a big check, but literally they're getting those funds throughout the quarter. We continue to collect them throughout the quarter. The other two organizations that aren't selected that quarter can be renominated until such time they're selected, and then they have to wait. You have to wait 36 months before you have the opportunity to be nominated again. The other two will receive a small grant through our community partner impact fund, which we established about 2 years ago. And our community partners, people in the community that invest in that fund, so we can provide these smaller grants, because all of these organizations are worthy. They all deserve our
That smaller
support.
grant is just as good as the big grant.
It's amazing. And that's the thing. When you get picked, you're like, oh my gosh, something good's going to happen.
Right, you
Look,
know.
I'm going to be on the radio and I'm going to
Yeah.
get some sort of recognition. I get to talk about my organization. So even being selected was
An
one
honor.
of those blown away moments.
And I love that
Yeah.
you said that today. Nobody's
Yeah.
ever said that to me today. And I want to thank you for saying that before you
my
got
gosh.
here.
It's
true.
She was saying that just when you're one of the three,
Yeah.
it's life-changing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it starts, you don't know what.
right then. And
Yeah,
you
and-
have to be prepared because every quarter that you nominate yourself, you better have your speech ready because if they call you, you're going.
That's right.
And so there's that, that whole day you're tweaking and rewriting and okay, I'm ready. And then if it doesn't happen, you're like, okay, put it in my folder, wait for the next time, get that nomination in, be ready. And we just rewrote our proposal at 2:30 that afternoon.
Well, it works for you, girlfriend.
And it was so funny
it
because I thought, I don't think this is the week. I really didn't feel this was the time.
Well, you know what happened this time, which was, I'm geeky, is she put up all 17, wasn't it 17 people
Yeah.
this time?
Yeah.
And then what was cool is we knew it, so then I could go and investigate. I know that sounds weird, but
love
I
it.
liked that we could go check it out ahead of time because 10 minutes is overwhelming for us and the audience. I know it's hard for you up there, but we're like trying to get that niche about your nonprofit.
Right.
And we're trying to see, okay,
a
now,
decision.
when I vote, I want to vote for something I believe in or that I might use or that I might need or whatever. So I loved that this time I could kind of go look, not knowing out of 17 which 3 were going up there. But I think that was life-changing for me as a geek.
Yes.
Well, just because it just made me understand your nonprofit better, I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, and having all those people listed, you have a room full of philanthropically oriented women, and you've already said, here are some people that could potentially be presented to you. If somebody had a heart for a particular type of mission, they might write a check independent of the whole
I was just gonna
VC.
say that too.
And so all of those organizations already have had a benefit. And that's the thing. I've never invited anybody to be a guest that didn't join.
Yeah.
Because you go to that room and you see all those people and you see all those connections and you know 50 people already. And it's just so uplifting. It is the best part of my quarter, regardless of.
So did you
I mean, it
join the
definitely
first
ranked
time
up.
you went, or did you?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So did I.
Absolutely.
Gosh, ladies, we need to I hope this recorded. I'd like to put this online. You've articulated it so well, and it is there really is no loser in that story. And when you walk in that room, you win because you get to be part of that network. And when that list, we learn and we grow as an organization. We're all volunteers, and we build our processes and our rules, and we try to be fair and transparent and consistent. But we learned something, and so finally, someone came up to me. And sometimes it's not that we don't do it because
You don't do it. You just don't think about it.
didn't think about it. And so somebody questioned 2 quarters ago. Didn't question. What they questioned was, we keep nominating. We're not getting drawn. Are they really in there? And I thought, oh, well, let's just publish the list. And also, it gives,
good
like
idea.
Shelley, it gives you an opportunity to investigate beforehand. So if you're so inclined, you can. We publish the list this time, and we'll do this now as a practice from now on of all those nominated. So in advance of that meeting, you have an opportunity to click on them and go to their website, read more about them, and be a little more knowledgeable when they present and when you're ready to vote. And I had several people bring that list to the meeting.
Yeah.
They showed it to me, and they walked around with that list, and they're okay. Who's this one? Who's this
Yep.
one? And so, as you said, just by being on that list, you've gotten exposure to people that are already inclined to support the community and philanthropic and ready to make a
Well,
difference.
what I thought about when she said something that just clicked with my brain is when you said that maybe we want to sponsor from something else, because I remember with my niece, I was one of the people that paid for her counseling.
Yes.
Because I knew that at that moment my sister couldn't do it and all that.
Yes.
And so I went right to where she was going, and I figured it out, called them, asked them how much. So I was thinking, there's people that don't have anybody to buy a gift for somebody for Christmas or whatever. Doing something for a nonprofit is amazing. Something. And so you could go to one of those people, those 17 people, or all 17 of them, and go on their website and go, you know what? I could buy a turkey. Oh, you know what? I could buy things of underwear for that ministry. You know what? I could buy dog food. And That was life changing, and I love that you just said that, because see me, I'm like being the little investigator, wanting to know everything. But you're right, that's life changing. Just having that list published now.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Because different things resonate with different people, and regardless of who the winners and the runners up are, there are so many valuable and worthwhile organizations that we learn about just as a result of the affiliation with Volusia County Women Who Care.
So you're probably getting a check for around $37,000.
Well, last quarter was 37,000, so we don't know until the checks all counted. But
It's only been going up from here.
it only goes up. but you know, it's just. You know, as long as I've been doing this, you know, at 8 years, I never cease to be amazed. I never cease to be humbled and awed when I stand in front of that group and I look at those women.
Yeah.
And every one of them are engaged. And I got an incredible email from somebody that came for the first time, and she said amazing things. But one of the things she said was, she says, don't apologize, because we try to do this very briefly. We try to move this meeting fast, make it 1 hour. She goes, please don't apologize. She said, everybody in that room wants to be there. And she said, nobody has anybody better to be, and you deserve to fill that space.
I'm
like, oh my God, that just
I
touched
go
my-
home like I don't think I walked to my car.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally, I leave there. And I'm just like a little kid that just gave the candy store and told me I could get whatever I want.
Yes.
Because I leave there and I'm filled up. I'm excited to be part of this community. I'm excited to be part of these groups. And even when it's one that I don't personally want or need, or I feel like it, I just get so tickled because I'll be driving home and I'll think, well, I've never been there, and I wonder what we're going to do there, because I like to go to the check
She always
presentation.
does, I know.
And it's so cute because I get excited driving to the check presentation because I get to see it in real life.
Yes.
I get to actually feel like I participated. And when we went to the pregnancy center, we did a little shower for them also that night, and we got to tour the place. And I was just so honored because I had my daughter at 16.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't places like that.
Yeah.
I had great parents that helped me, but there wasn't that. And when we went there and heard the stories, real life people that we actually got to meet and hold a baby that was saved because there was an organization that let them move in there and help them.
Help them.
And we got to be part of that.
Exactly.
It was like full circle. So you sitting here today means so much to me because of a counselor that helped my niece.
Oh, that's so nice.
You know, I mean, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You
The
know-
first experience I had was I went alone to my first meeting, which is a little intimidating. There were about 250 members then. We were at the yacht club, and it was like, wow, this is
Well, we were
this is
crammed in there.
impressive. We were a little tight, but it was a huge group of people, and there were maybe 10 or 12 people that I ran across that I already knew, but I was kind of by myself and just kind of checking it out. What's this about? And I happened to sit with Carol Quinn.
Oh,
And I
Carol
heard,
Killian?
Sorry.
Killian, yeah.
And I heard all about Volusia Volunteers in Medicine.
Right.
And I thought, how did I not know about
Right,
this?
totally.
I've been here this long. How did I not know this? And everything she told me was so phenomenal. And I think they've won at least twice, three
Yeah.
times. But her story was the reason I joined. She was the reason that I joined the group right then and there,
Isn't that
because
amazing?
it was just such a phenomenal and inspirational story. And I've been able to refer folks with physical needs to them.
to the free clinic.
There's so many things that I've been able to connect to as an organization, as a person who connects people and is able to use that network. It's just an amazing thing.
Well, my
It
new
truly
thing is I don't want to sit with people I know. This time when I
Right.
went, I
Oh.
purposely said I'm not going to sit with anybody I know.
Yep.
I'm going to get out of the zone, and so I went right in the middle of the room, and I sat at a table by myself, and then some great ladies sat there too. But and I thought, why did I do that? Because and then I heard a voice say, because you got to get outside of your box.
Yeah.
And you got to not just have friends and associates, and that's how you think. One of the people I've met is Kim through there. And she's from the Toyota and Kia dealer. And right this very moment, they're giving away 300 turkeys.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
I, because I love that, was able to share that all week and talk about it on the radio. If I wouldn't have known her,
Right.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have shared that. Do
Yeah.
you follow what I'm saying? Because
Sure.
you want to, before you give up your name or put your name behind something, you kind of want to have a background.
You wanna know,
And so, like, when you got up there, I had already had a conversation with you. I knew you did great things with children that were going through stuff. And I think children are kind of forgot that they're actually going through stuff. I think we think they're so resilient that, oh, they won't remember this. But when you told about the sandbox that day, that will always, forever and ever be in my heart. Because I thought, how many little kids draw a picture and they bring it home and they have like their family and they X out one of the family members because they're no longer in the house or whatever. And I thought, wow, Xing out somebody or not putting somebody up there or something. They're still part of their lives, but somehow that needs to help them be reconnected. That just because they aren't living under the same roof, and you guys do that.
Yeah.
You help them figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing.
Well, you said something earlier, Shelley. I just want to point out because I keep forgetting to just thank everybody. When you become as a member, and you are not as a member, but as an organization selected, you're part of our family, and we continue to look for ways to support you throughout, and our members look for ways to support you. And one of the organizations we funded, been several years now, was it used to be called the Women and Men's Center at Daytona State College. It's now called the Hope Center. And they have a food pantry for their homeless students and a clothes closet. And when I first heard the word homeless college student, I about fell off my chair. Like, what is that?
Especially being a nanny with kids that are going to college and stuff. That was like, yeah.
And so we ask everyone that night to bring in items to help refill their pantry to kick off their Homeless and Hungry Week, which they just started at the Daytona State College and their Falcon Hope Center. So there's just so many ways we
carts
connect.
and carts full of individually wrapped stuff. I mean, I walked in, I was so excited because I had an experience like that with one of my grandchildren that I didn't even realize. I took clothes to the, and I took shoes there. I was so honored that people are going to get to go on job applications with something decent. And I'm not being rude when I say that, but I think that they don't know that you should wear, I think you should wear a little dress. I do. I think you should wear a collared shirt if you're a man, because impression is important still. And giving to that center, those kids can go in there for no cost and get that dress or get those shoes. Or we did that, remember, like a year ago when they were and they needed stuff, remember, live on the air, and we were handing her stuff.
Yeah, that's right. We did a drive for them about a year ago when the pantries, and they've expanded. And a lot of the students that are going to the college are parents themselves, and they're struggling, and so they also send food home for the families. So there's just so many amazing organizations like yours in this community, and so many ways to connect those networks. And by the way, I don't want to take anything away from you, but just to say, because Wednesday, something Shelley and I have done a lot, the Daytona Dream Center is having their food drop. And so what they do is it's at Calvary Christian Center, and it's in Granada, and you basically volunteer, and these cars line up for miles. I mean, it really miles, and it goes on for 4 hours. And they have their trunks open, and they drive through, and we go down the line, and we put food in their trunks. That
if you ever want to do something that's just so fulfilling, and what I encourage people is that do have nonprofits or businesses to send somebody from your business or your nonprofit. Because I've been doing it forever and a day. It's life-changing. And so tomorrow, I shut down WAPN.
Oh, wow.
And go do that. Now, if you have a key, you can come in and do your stuff. But I tell you straight up, I'm not going to be here because that's important to me. Because there was a time in my life when I didn't have food. And so I'm going. And even next month, I just found out that we're going to do toys at the end of it. So that's why I got toys under my tree, because I'm collecting toys right now. And that's just from a connection.
Exactly.
But see, that connection, those people that are going to call you, that are listening, that the sandbox thing, I know I keep going back to that, but I just see these little kids. We do another ministry that does provision packs. Where you pack a thing. Who in their right mind ever thought about doing that? Hello? I never thought these kids I never thought about that.
Absolutely.
But just think about during COVID, do you realize all that shut down for kids to get breakfast and lunch? I had a veteran that came to me and said, we're going to pack lunches and hand deliver them. So we packed peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but that was because of a connection.
Exactly.
So this connection you got now, I know you've been part of it for a while, it's going to keep multiplying and multiplying. I feel that you're going to have to go bigger and bigger and I just can't wait to hear.
Well, and you asked me that question, are we local, where are we? And I don't think I ever answered that because I got distracted. But you talk about the connections. The Presbyterian Counseling Center, we just go by PCC typically. We are ecumenical in our nature. People come to us that have no faith affiliation as well as faith. Sometimes that's a tool in your tool bag. Regardless, part of what we receive from our founding churches is office space. So in many cases, we have free or low-cost office space.
That helps a lot.
At 9 locations.
Oh my goodness, did God bless you or what?
7 of them are in Volusia County. One is in Flagler, one's in Oviedo, but 7 of them are in Volusia County. So we have offices from New Smyrna to Ormond to DeLand. So we have that affiliation. And because of those affiliations, we get to see what's happening on those campuses. DeLand First Presbyterian has a giant food drive. The same thing happens. People are lined up around the block in a fairly affluent area of DeLand, and they do easily 500 people through that, and they have a system.
Yep, we have a system tomorrow too. Oh,
Same thing. And they have God's bathhouse where people can come and
I
get
love
clean.
God's bathhouse.
Yeah, we funded them back right before COVID, I think.
And I love giving them towels. And it's so funny because I want a nice towel when I get out of the shower.
Right.
So I walked up one day with bags and bags of brand new towels, and they're like, "And you're giving them to me?" I said, "Well, when I get out of the shower, I want a nice clean towel."
Exactly.
That's the thing. The things that you don't think of, that you become aware of, the needs that you can fill with something simple like a towel.
Right.
But
Bars of
mental health
soap.
is huge. Something simple
All of
by
these
listening
things.
to somebody's story is
Yes,
huge.
yes.
And that you have different ways to get the story out of them. Because, in the middle of a trauma, crisis, whatever you want to call it, you have to meet that person right where they're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't expect them to walk in, lay on a couch, and just spill their guts.
It's wonderful. The text ability that we have is so fantastic because
Who would have
I
known
have
that?
a favorite. I have a favorite person that I know where she came in. I know how she came in and the level of stress and duress that she was under. She wasn't able to talk to us about her needs. She wasn't able to express what kind of connection she needed to resolve the situation that she was in. But we chose a therapist that was a perfect fit for her. She was able to walk to her therapy sessions. She now texts me pictures of herself on vacation with her son, whom she's
And you're
not
part of
estranged of
that.
any longer. That's the thing. We become part of that.
Family.
Family, exactly. And then you get to see that success of this person's, she's
So
thriving
rewarding.
now.
So rewarding.
She's reunited with her family. She's enjoying her life. Things have changed completely for her.
Isn't it amazing that a text can make a difference? I have a listener that doesn't live here, and he's a veteran, so he has his PTSD. Okay. But he texts me every day.
Aw.
And it is so special because he
Yeah.
just says, "Hey, Shelley, it's going to be a great day," or "What did you have for lunch?" or what. And I text back, and if I don't text back, "Everything okay?"
Right.
And it's so cute because, and that's just, he needed somebody to just have a communication with, nothing else. Just wanted to have somebody that he was accountable for.
Yes.
And we all need accountability. And I think that having a wonderful group like you guys on here that reaches all across Volusia County, has so many different resources for everybody, is just amazing.
It's wonderful. Those connections sometimes on the weekend will get, kind of SOS messages. I need to get with my therapist, and there's a way to connect with them through our online platform. It's a HIPAA compliant email sort of situation. Like I said, we have these text abilities. People can get that support. They can make that connection. I have a lovely lady who drives for Uber, and when she gets stressed or challenged, she sends us a little video. This is what's happening for me. I'm grounding myself. This is what I'm doing. This is my safety plan. This is where I'm headed. I just wanted to check in and let you know.
Wow.
And for her, it's a lifeline. For her,
Yep.
it's a critically important step that she can tangibly take when things are challenging.
See, I love that. I absolutely love that because don't we all have those moments? Like, I don't have parents, but my mom was that moment. I would text my mom, like now it's Yvonne, my poor daughter. But like last night I was upset about something, and it was I didn't want to get my husband riled up before he went to bed. So I texted my daughter, "Call me now." And it was an SOS. She calls me and goes, "Mom, what's going on?" So I told her, and she goes, "Mom, you're going to sleep on this." And I said, okay, thank you. But I just needed somebody to say, Mom, you're going to sleep on this. You know, because at that moment, I wanted to be crazy woman. And crazy woman, not bad or doing something illegal or anything like that, but I just wanted to just
spiral.
Right. And
I need to vent. I need to get this pressure out.
So I love that the counseling center isn't just 9 to 5.
Oh, no.
But, you know, they were like that back in the day, weren't they?
Sure.
And now you're available.
8 to 8, most weekdays. Saturdays we have sessions. Occasionally therapists will schedule specific things with clients for, 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon or whatever's going to help fill that need, especially with kids that are in school and
Y'all
families.
should be called life changers. Don't you think?
We can
Teresa,
consider a name change, but we want to give that nod to those Presbyterians that started the whole thing.
I
man.
agree
They
with
did
that.
it,
But I mean, you are lifesavers.
thank you.
So tell
It
us
is
how we find you.
honorable work.
How do we find you? How do we get a hold of you? How can we be part of you?
Absolutely. You can call or text us either by means of support or by means of needing support. The telephone number is 386-258-1618. That's also our textable line. I am at extension 2 if you want me specifically. And our website is presbyteriancounseling.com. Come and find us if you have a need or if you have something to give. We're
We're
also
donate?
looking,
Can we donate and stuff on there?
Yes, absolutely. As soon as you go to our website, there's a donate button that lets you connect directly through our platform. We do have the 2 fundraisers, Spring Forward, Fall Back. We're planning the Spring Forward now, so that'll be March 7th. So if you want to save the date, we know that's coming up. To be honest, what you accomplished with Volusia County Women Who Care in one night of 10 minutes speaking was 2 years worth of my fundraisers at our current rate, which truly that's 2 years of fundraising for me in one check.
Gosh, now I'm gonna get
That's
wimpy.
why I get so emotional. Yeah, because
That's why you didn't
can't
know your name
imagine.
when we called it. Laura, it was priceless. It was. I was like, breathe, breathe. They won't have to go up there and do CPR on you, honey. But, I mean, I can't even imagine what that moment was like.
I still can't get over it.
When did you first, say it out loud afterwards? You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't that night. I mean, I went home and called my sister, called my parents, called all of our board. There was a lot that night immediately just because we had just had a board meeting at lunchtime and we had gone through lots and lots of things. We had a recent fundraiser. We were recapping that and I was saying, look, put us in your prayers and thoughts tonight. It'll be around 6:05. That's when we're going to know whether or not we got picked. And then when we did, Lisa, my co-director, is just hugging me and there was like a crazy thing going on at the table just from being picked. And then, so to be able to text the board that night and say, you're not going to believe this. And they said, we were just talking about how to fund this type of outreach, how to deal with this particular problem. It's done. This is how we do it. Wow. This is the answer. I mean, it was unbelievable. And
God showed up and showed out that night.
Cannot get over it. It's just I can't wait to do the tech presentation in the open house and show you everything we do.
Are we going to get to come to
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yes, to our DeLand office.
Okay, is that where we're going?
We're hoping for that second week in December. If we have to move to January because of the holidays, we understand. We're just getting it all figured out. But it's such a cool place. What I've done to tell you is just scratch the surface. We have a big 2-story house behind First Presbyterian DeLand.
Okay.
It used to be the house next door office, and that house is a place of so much love and so much come in, heal, tell us. It's got all of the children's spaces. It's got the sand tray and sand place, but you're going to get to do it yourself. It's got the expressive art
I'll
space.
be telling a story.
It's got the children's play area, and it's got these therapy rooms that are set up to be so welcoming with amazing counselors who can say, tell me your story. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's see how we can improve the situation, give you some perspective, change something that's happening. It's just an amazing place of love.
But then what happens is when us 20 women, usually about 20 show up, a little bit more depending, because, we do it during the day usually. Then those 20 women leave there, and we tell the story over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
And then that makes you more visual and more, I'm just so excited. I am so honored that I got to be part of this and that you got chosen. And I'll say it, I voted for you. I know it's supposed to be anonymous, but I'm just putting it out there.
So many people came and told me that afterwards. It was lovely.
Well,
It
because
really was.
it's supposed to be a whole anonymous thing, but like I said, I had a reason because I know counseling makes a difference.
Yeah.
And that was that important to me.
A woman came up to me afterwards. Lisa and I were standing together, and she said, I was a school counselor for 22 years in Volusia County schools. I've referred so many people to you, and I know the good work that you're doing. Congratulations. What? That was
And you would have probably never
almost as
known
valuable
that.
as the check, right?
You wouldn't have never known that probably.
No. The number of people who said, you've served my family. You touched our lives. That endorsement, that feedback is so
It's
phenomenal.
priceless. It really, that is really priceless.
All of it is just the most incredible experience. You must become affiliated.
Well, I can't wait
Tell
until
us
the
where
check
we go.
presentation.
Tell us how we become part of this one last time. We got 3 minutes.
Okay, so you can go online, the vcwwc.org, VolutiaCountyWomenWhoCare.org.com. You'll find us. There's a big button that says join now. You can join, you can read about us, and so on and so forth. We will, for anybody member who's listening, we will be announcing, confirming that date for the check presentation. I hope we have a big turnout. We'll have a big celebration. I'm very excited about, seeing and feeling and touching everything that,
We'll
that you have
videotape
to-
We're all about feelings. Come on.
Yeah, no, we'll do it.
Touchy-feely day.
And everybody, so we do invite anybody and everybody that's interested. If you can just come to one of the quarterly meetings. You don't have to. There's no obligation. We won't twist your arm. We won't make you. We won't embarrass you. Just come and visit and see what it feels like, and then you can make a determination then, or just go right now. Go online and join us. Be part of this amazing collective
Why
action.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's $1.10 a day. I think we figured it out one day. You can't even get M&Ms.
And she loves M&Ms.
I
by the
know.
way.
So I mean, you can't even buy a bag of M&Ms nowadays, and you could be a life changer.
Well, publicly, thank you both so much for everything that you've done and contributed to this community, to this organization, and to PCC. It is amazing and life-changing.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we do. We really do appreciate you. And our next quarterly meeting is February 13th in 2026. It'll be our first quarterly meeting of the year, and we hope that we have a big turnout. You'll get to stand in front of everybody and tell them, celebrate the money you received and what you're able to do with it. You'll have that opportunity. We'll video it at the check presentation. We'll show it. Our members will know. And you're so eloquent at expressing it, and I'm so appreciative of that. So thank you for what you do and for being part of our family.
Mm-hmm. And I want numbers. I'm a numbers girl, so
I
would love to know, how many lives got changed because of that money. Because with you, it's going to be a lot of life-changing things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought it was way more expensive than $100 an hour. So
Yeah.
I was multiplying and dividing and all that, but you're going to use it for so many wonderful things. And we can't wait to come to the check presentation and play and learn. I'm so excited.
We look forward to having you.
Okay, thanks for being